Hey guys, welcome in. Please take your seat and make sure you take out a piece of paper and a writing utensil. We're going to be watching another oversimplified video. I know we love it so much. Um, we're going to take another over. We're going to be watching another oversimplified video, and we will be writing down two things we want to know more about within the video. Remember, this video is just an oversimplification of what we'll be talking about in the next couple of weeks. Right now, we're going to be mainly focusing on Stalin because we all know Lenin, the great Lenin, has died. And now, who is going to fill up his role? And what kind of leader is going to show up? I mean, Lenin was very influential, as we know. What kind of leader is going to take over? We do know he has some big shoes to fill. All right. So remember, two things we want to know more about. Alrighty, so let me pull up the video. Alrighty, here we go. The year is 1917.
17. Fighting rages on the Eastern Front of the First World War. Both Germany and Russia are on the brink of collapse. Soldier, I need you to bring me this man. Got it. Found him, sir. What? No, not Lenin. Lenin, the Russian communist. What? Why would I need a beetle? Lenin, the Russian communist. He was exiled to Switzerland. You know what? I'll do it myself. Who wants to start a revolution? The Germans put Lenin on a train and sent him all the way back to Russia, hoping he and his mates would create an internal crisis. And create an internal crisis they did. The government was overthrown, and Lenin was in charge. He immediately pulled out of the First World War, made the country communist, started a 3-year-long civil war, got shot, broke the economy, caused a famine, and then he died. On his deathbed, he said, "Hey man, tell whoever's in charge of giving people jobs not to let that jerk Stalin become the next leader. By the way, who did I put in charge of giving people jobs? That would be Stalin, sir." Stalin was a rising force in the Communist Party. He still had some opponents, but conveniently, all of them were arrested or disappeared. So that was lucky. And so Stalin took over. He implemented his 5-year plans, which transformed the country from an agriculture-based economy to an industrial one. And like Lenin before him, he reigned with terror. Anyone who dared criticize or oppose him would either be killed or left to rot in the horrendous Soviet work camps. Then a short man with a silly mustache tried to take over the world, punched the Russians all the way to Moscow, and then the Russians, with some help from their faithful ally, the Winter, punched them all the way back to Berlin. At this point, being allies, America, the UK, and the Soviet Union were good chums. They held a couple of conferences near the end of the war to decide what would happen next. Hey Stalin, after all your trials and tribulation, you must be pretty happy to be standing here in Berlin. Tsar Alexander made it all the way to Paris. Hey, just give me a second. Hey man, I think something's up with Stalin. I know, right? What should we do? Shall I tell him about the bomb? Yeah, tell him about the bomb. That will scare him. So, we got this crazy new big A-bomb that can destroy an entire city in one go. Yes, my spies told me already. Oh wait, I meant to act surprised. Wow, that's amazing. He already knew. How? Am I sure I want to send nuclear secrets via unsecure public coffee shop Wi-Fi? Am I ever? Dude, use a VPN. And speaking of VPNs,
skip a little bit
if, like me,
forward.
you take internet, does the A stand for atomic or ass? Then America dropped their big A-bomb on Japan, and World War II officially came to an end. Hooray, we won! Okay, so now it's time to establish the New World Order. Stalin, you're in charge of Eastern Europe. Now, we want you to let them all hold elections. Oh yes, of course, elections. And these elections will be free and fair, right? Oh yes, certainly, free and fair. Definitely free and fair. Communist, 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 communist.
Alrighty, so we can see how Stalin rose to power and what kind of programs he wanted to implement in Russia. So, can anyone give me two things they want to know more about? Okay, so we got the 5-year plan. Okay. And we also got the winter. Okay, two awesome things. So the 5-year plan is kind of like Lenin's new economic policy, where they are allowing some capitalism, just some barely an insy teeny weeny bit into the country to ramp up production, ramp up the economy, and ramp up money circulation so that people are getting money, people are getting paid, and the economy doesn't collapse and people come and kill everyone and there's famine everywhere. Huge fun things, right? That's communism. So, as the video mentioned, Stalin ruled with terror. That's how he gained power. As we will be noticing in the upcoming weeks and in this lesson, is how Stalin was able to not only obtain power, because Lenin did not want Stalin. No, he did not. How he maintained power, because, I mean, if there's a guy who was not popular and he's making all your homies and friends disappear, that'd be scary. And also, what it meant for, we're going to be exploring how people reacted to Stalin, because we're going to be learning more about the Soviet secret police known as the KGB. So, with Stalin, we see, well, first, let's begin how he came to power. With Stalin, he was not liked, so he was given a position he did not like. But he used his knowledge and understanding of that power, because he was a secretary, to put all his friends in positions of power. So he can be like, hey, I put you here, you owe me a favor. You're gonna be with me no matter what. And also this other fella, Trotsky, was which was the favored one from Lenin. We're gonna kick him out of here. He's not good. I'm gonna be the leader. I'm the one that can lead Russia to greatness and spread the fundamental idea of communism all throughout the world. So that's what he did. And as we continue through this, as we're going to learn further on today, we're going to see how people reacted and how that led to a different role in World War II than in World War One. Remember, in World War One, Russia was not doing too hot. The Tsar was completely detached from all society. He did not know about what was going on with his people. He was mostly worried about his son. Remember, guys, that what did his son have? Right, he had this rare blood disorder. Who was pretty much taken care of? Anyone? Correct, Rasputin. So it was like a huge drama issue. Not in World War II. As we're going to see, in World War II, we take a more active role only after our good friend Winter comes. And then will understand why you never go to Russia during the winter. Another thing we're going to see is that how, if I don't know if you guys noticed, how after the end of war, there was a new world order, right? We're going to see how there was two nations built who were pretty much left standing after the rubble of the World War II. So since we don't know about World War II, let's use World War I as a reference. After World War II, what happens? You have severely wounded people, dead people, people you have to pay back, right? Because of the bonds we sell. We have an economy that has to recuperate because, like, okay, we're not in wartime anymore, so we have to slow things down. We have to go back to how we were, and you have to pay people back. That's a main thing. People want their money back after a war. So that kind of makes, like, hey, you have to stand back from the limelight. So remember, the US wasn't in the limelight, right? The only after World War I, they were like, oh, dang, US is actually a huge piece in the world, right? So then, as we'll see, US is left standing and Russia is left standing while England has to stand back a bit. They just were there longer, as we'll see, they're bombed to crazy, they had to step back. So we have two political ideologies that do not like each other. On this side, we have Stalin, and on this side, we have Truman. And we're going to see how that plays a huge role. Alrighty, so now everyone take out your notebooks and we're going to be heading straight into the lecture. If you guys have any questions, raise your hand, no interruptions, and let's get to it.